Hi, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a video about how I feel like I've been shocked and feared into moving from new age to Jesus. Because like I think it's just like about time I make this video because I grew up a Catholic, okay, and I feel like my parents were kind of low-key narcissistic or high-key narcissistic, and I just feel like I don't know. I had a lot of like issues with school and stuff growing up. I had mental health problems. I bought this book about the occult when I went to see it, a museum exhibition, and I don't know. Like I literally just kind of it's not that it's when you put these things in your house. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't gotten rid of it yet. I haven't got rid of my crystals. But I feel like just negative shit was going on in my life. Like, I'm not saying like people aren't negative at times. I'm not saying people don't have personality disorders and stuff like that. Something really kind of traumatic happened to me. A couple of really traumatic things happened to me as well. And I feel like low-key the devil uses this to get inside your life and inside your mind. Your thoughts are so powerful, to be fair. And as someone that has been medicated in the past and sort of had that sort of thought process regulated a little bit because of the medication slowing your mind down and stuff, I think I was even more receptible to the kind of thoughts I was having. I feel like the devil, I don't know, like you get these, I found from my experience, I was getting these really like, and I think recently, I don't know, something else really bad happened to me. I ran into this like psychopath person that tried to harm me, and then something else happened, and I don't know, I remember praying when I had to go to the hospital for a reason, so I don't want to get into the whole story about that, but I started praying and I was just like, I feel like I looked at myself and it was one of those moments where I was like humbled, and I was just like, I know what I'm doing. Like everyone has a conscience, okay, and I know in my conscience, like I've made loads of Jesus videos on this channel, but it's so weird how you can just get sucked into this stuff. I want to start going and watching Evolution Church more, um, and I think sometimes when you come across certain stuff, it can be educational, but there's a I don't want to talk about all of the differences between the occult and Jesus now, but I think from what happened for me, I had this sense of like I have a conscience, and I know that if I was to repent now, I know what I would be repenting of because I grew up a Catholic, and it's this prodigal son sense of I wanted to stray from God to see how far I could get kind of situation. But I've heard before, if you go so low down in vibration and in kind of, I don't even want to use the word vibration anymore because that's kind of a new age word, but if you go so far down into sin, and God can't reach you, there's like a level, and God's all the way up in heaven, and you go into the demonic realms in life too much, he can't come down and fish you out. You need to come to him. I've heard that from an Revelation Church thing. And I don't know, just a lot of bad things were happening to me. Like bad exes were coming back into my life. My friends were kind of being a bit arsey. I had a couple of issues with my family, and again, I'm not saying these things don't happen regardless of like that sort of thing, but by putting these things like crystals in your house, the occult book, witchcraft stuff, I was getting more and more into witchcraft, like Wicca. I learned all about Wicca, and I was doing Reiki. I don't know, because I think there's a level of holistic health, right? And by holistic health, I mean mindfulness, the stuff they honestly tell you in like the NHS website, mindfulness, um, relaxation, salt baths, if you want to chuck an essential oil in there for a bit of a nice smell, you do you. But it's when you start idolizing and worshipping almost without even realizing these things, and you get to the point where you're like, I don't want to go out and meet my family members unless I have this crystal and this crystal for joy and abundance and whatever, and I need to be wearing these crystals, otherwise like it will be horrible, and you become reliant on them. For me, it's not like I was reading this occult book all the time. I was never into like spells or anything, astrology even. It's not good. I thought because my age group is so into astrology, and it's not good, because it's, again, um it's an idol, even, and I think learning, when you look into the planets and the way it's all described online, it makes a hell of a lot of sense. I've heard before, it's just there's a lot of stuff in the New Age that makes a hell of a lot of sense. So when you come across it, it's so well known that people come across the New Age and they think, oh, this is new, like this makes so much sense, like all these stupid religious people, why are they so single-minded and silly? But it's when you actually realize that it's a trick, it's deception, and it's so obvious if you've read anything like a Bible, if you've seen any or heard of anything through the New Age, that you realize that it is deception, because you think it justifies things in your life, when you hear things like astrology and horoscopes and stuff, it says, oh, give this person a miss today, give yourself a chance to relax, and don't worry about working hard, give your wallet a rest today, or go and buy yourself something nice. Or it's never read this, but the Bible and God, he gives it to you hard, he gives it to you the cold hard facts. He does not piss about. He's a kind God, he's a gentle God. He will never force himself upon you, because we have free will, but he disciplines, he chastens his children, and he disciplines them. And he would not be, yeah, he chastens and he disciplines his children, and that is what a just parent does, especially if you have like what genuine trauma from your own parents, because no people are perfect. And I'm not saying all family dynamics are healthy and that I'm not talking about anyone's family dynamic here. Yeah, I'm not invalidating anyone's family dynamic here or validating it. I'm not saying everything is love, but that's still the New Age telling you love is love and everyone is love and we're all love and universe is love. And it's all there's a saying in the Bible, the devil comes to you like an angel of light. And in any Reiki session and stuff, it talks about an angel of light. It talks about love and light and stuff, and it's like God's love. It's like it's all deception, because it says in the Bible, it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into heaven. And it's the whole idea of in the New Age they talk. It's like esoteric stuff, aka like little known stuff that's like a gem of wisdom or whatever. And the fact is, God promises us everlasting life in him, and promises us like people in our lives that are like gems, but it's when you search for those gems in the wrong places by idolizing things or living in this state of, the thing is, the devil will work in people's lives in all various ways, and God uses all evil for good, but it's things like that where you justify doing things like witchcraft and stuff. But I'm very logistic. I feel like I had to go through this to actually notice how it was, because I'm just a very practical minded person. I'm a bit of a rebel, and God's been very, very patient with me in my walk with him, which I want to continue getting stronger again, because I've actually chosen to follow God myself, rather than be dragged up through religion and sort of forced to feel that I have to follow him. Which is why we all have like an individual path, because obviously none of our paths are going to be the same. And yeah, I feel like like God has a divine path for us. It's not easy. Life is suffering, and but it's not only suffering. God is the source of our joy, our peace. In lockdown, I noticed like I was so close to God in those seasons, because there was nothing else to worry about, but it got me closer to God again. I feel like a lot of my mental health was massively improved over lockdown, just from praying and realizing where I was going wrong and where I was, running away from God in various aspects, and not kind of allowing him to lead my way, and therefore, falling into sin and all sorts of negative stuff. And yeah, I think it just depends on the person. It's so weaved into our culture. It is so true that demonic stuff and witchcraft and everything is so weaved into our culture. You only have to go into a clothes shop and it says like Earth Angel on a top, things like star seeds, Earth Angels. It's the devil recruiting people that are naive and that are looking for they're looking for a home and they're looking for acceptance, just like everyone is. If you live in a place where you're lonely, or whether you're not connected to close family members or a church or anything, he'll use that and make you feel that you're part of a community by getting into like Reiki or getting into witchcraft. You know, if you've got certain issues, the thing about Reiki is you go on any Reiki channel and it's like Reiki for abundance, Reiki for self-love, Reiki for, and it's all positive stuff. But, and I think it does have some level that it starts working for a while, but it gets to the point where you start to feel really bad after. You sort of, it's kind of like a drug where it improves your mood weirdly for a while, and it improves how you're going for a while, but then after a while you start to feel crap and you crash, and things start going wrong and stuff, and it's because you're letting the devil into your life, you're letting a bad energy into your life, and it's very, very sinful because it's so easy. It's one of those things where it's one thing falling into sexual sin, even a lot of sexual sin, that's bad enough, but that ends at a level, as in, you know, you can only have sex so often in the day. Sorry for any younger viewers that are watching this, but you can only have it so many times in a day. But when it comes to spiritual stuff, it's consistent. If you have a belief, and often it comes from a good place, you know, that's the whole point. The devil uses good for evil, and God uses evil for good. And it comes from a place of kind of wanting to help people or whatever, if it comes off the internet, or whatever. But when it happens, you're misleading a lot of people. And I've done videos on my own channel. I know I haven't got like a massive amount of viewers, but at the same time I've said stuff about, oh, I do crystals and witchcraft and this and that, and then someone might go off and look into that themselves because they just hear it from me. Like, our minds are so receptive, and I don't know whether to take down those videos. I probably should. At the beginning I was quite wary of all that stuff, but it's it gets weaved into your life so easily, because it's so normalized in culture. Once you sort of step your foot in the door, this is why I've watched videos for ages, and I almost knew it would go like this, where I've heard people go, like Doreen Virtue talk about this, where she went from kind of new age stuff to Christianity, and she was like, you can't have one foot in the door with God, because one, it's like opening the door to the devil. The devil is not one size. He will expand, he will accumulate. He's like a, you know, and he will, you know, he will move into your life, and, you know, and things, you know, you'll think things that are deception, really, and it has real effects, you know. I don't know, I'm trying to just be more in detail in what my experience was. I don't think I was like very, very, I wouldn't call myself fully depressed or anything. I think I've definitely become a little bit more anxious, to be honest. Mental health, I'm quite clued in on, but it's also things like, I don't know, you just find life more difficult, and then when you it's deception, and it's when it makes life a lot harder when you don't know the truth. Because I was brought up a Catholic, so I was always very, very, very educated on the Bible and teachings and stuff, but you don't really understand them as well. I feel like, even though I know the Bible to a level, it's difficult when you don't keep up with them or update them in your own mind, especially as you get older, to kind of put them to your own life. But yeah, I think I don't want to like ramble on forever, but yeah, it really did have negative effects on my life. Like, it just does, and there's no way around it, I think, because I think it was experimentation for me. You know, I have like a high capacity for, like, I like thrills and stuff, you know, and just my life at the moment has stopped me being able to like go clubbing, and I'm getting a little bit older now, so maybe in previous years this wouldn't have been an avenue that I would ever chosen to expose myself to. But it's, you know, you go into like the Works, which is a shop in England, or just any little shop, and you get books of witchcraft and tarot cards and blah blah blah. I'm going to end the video. Yeah, I'm going to end the video there. Thanks for listening. Bye.